If you're still writing prompts the same way you did 6 months ago, you're leaving massive performance gains on the table. I just spent the last week deep diving into the latest prompt engineering guides from OpenAI and Anthropic, and I need to tell you, everything has changed. We're not just talking about minor tweaks here. We're talking about fundamental shifts in how we need to think about building with AI agents. Today, I'm breaking down the absolute latest best practices from the GPT-5, GPT 4.1, and Claude 4 prompt guides. And trust me, some of these insights are going to completely flip your understanding of how these models actually work. Here's the first major shift you need to understand. We're moving from prompt engineering to context engineering. What does that mean? Well, it used to be all about crafting the perfect prompt, finding those magic words that would make the AI do exactly what you want. But now it's about managing the entire context window as a precious, finite resource. Think about it like this. Your AI has an attention budget. Every single token you feed it depletes that budget. And here's the kicker. Studies show that as context windows get longer, models experience something called context rot. They literally lose focus and get confused, just like you would trying to remember every detail from a 200-page document. So the new game isn't about writing longer, more detailed prompts. It's about finding the smallest set of high-signal tokens that get you the results you want. Quality over quantity, every single time. GPT-5 is inherently more thorough. It will naturally search longer and dig deeper to find the precisely correct answer. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the problem. Sometimes that thoroughness becomes over-exploration. The model might waste time and tokens searching when it already has enough information to act. So OpenAI has given us some really specific guidance on controlling what they call agentic eagerness. If you want GPT-5 to be more efficient and stop searching so much, you need to give it explicit context-gathering instructions. Check this out. Notice how they're using XML tags? This isn't random. They're literally telling the model, start broad, fan out to focused subqueries, avoid oversearching, and know when to stop early. You can even set fixed tool call budgets, like maximum of 2 tool calls, period. It's that steerable now. The instruction following revolution. Here's something that's going to change how you write prompts forever. GPT 4.1, GPT 5, and Claude 4 follow instructions with surgical precision. These models don't infer intent anymore. They don't read between the lines. If your instructions are vague, contradictory, or underspecified, the model will literally waste reasoning tokens trying to reconcile your conflicting demands instead of just picking the most reasonable interpretation. Let me give you a real example from the GPT-5 guide. They show this medical appointment scheduling prompt that says both never schedule without explicit patient consent and auto-assign the earliest slot without contacting the patient. See the problem? The model sees it too. And instead of making a smart choice, it gets stuck trying to satisfy both impossible requirements. The solution? Be explicit. Be clear. And here's the key phrase you need to remember. Tell the model what to do, not what not to do. Instead of don't use Markdown, say write in smoothly flowing prose paragraphs. Instead of don't be too verbose, say provide concise, direct responses with minimal summary. Main content section 4, 560. Claude 4.5 has something called context awareness. It literally knows how much of its context window is left and can manage its work accordingly. It's like having an agent that can see its own fuel gauge. But here's where it gets really interesting. For tasks that span multiple context windows, like major code refactors or comprehensive research projects, you need to think about state management. Anthropic recommends 3 main strategies. First, compaction. This is where you summarize the conversation and start fresh with just the key details. It's like taking meeting notes and then starting the next meeting with those notes instead of the full transcript. Second, structured note-taking. Have the agent write progress notes to a file that persists outside the context window. Claude Code does this brilliantly with to-do lists and progress tracking. Third, sub-agent architectures. Instead of one agent trying to do everything, you spin up specialized sub-agents for focused tasks. Each sub-agent does deep work, then returns a condensed summary. The main agent never gets overwhelmed. Okay, this next concept is probably the biggest mindset shift. Just-in-time context retrieval. Traditionally, we've used embedding-based retrieval systems. You process all your data upfront, create embeddings, and then pull relevant chunks into context before the model starts working. But here's what's changing. Modern agents are moving toward maintaining lightweight identifiers, file paths, URLs, database queries, and then dynamically loading data at runtime using tools. Why is this better? 3 reasons. 1, it's way more token efficient. You're not filling your context with potentially irrelevant information just in case. 2, the metadata itself is valuable. File names, folder structures, timestamps, these all give the agent important signals about what's relevant. 3, progressive disclosure. The agent can discover what it needs step by step, like a human would, instead of trying to process everything at once. Anthropic literally says in their context engineering paper, do the simplest thing that works. And increasingly, that means letting smart models act intelligently by exploring their environment rather than pre-chewing everything for them. All right, let's get tactical. Here are the specific things you should change in your prompts today. For GPT-5, use the reasoning its effort parameter. Scale it based on task complexity. Include reminders so agents don't quit early. Leverage the new verbosity parameter to control answer length separately from thinking length. For Claude 4.5, tell it explicitly when you want verbose explanations in code versus concise status updates. Use the phrase default to action if you want proactive implementation. For long tasks, add, your context will be automatically compacted, so don't stop early. Encourage parallel tool calling when operations are independent. For both, structure your prompts with clear sections using XML or Markdown headers. Put the most important instructions at the beginning and end. Use examples that demonstrate exact behavior you want. Always explain the why behind your instructions. Context helps models generalize better. Quick bonus tip that's kind of amazing. Both GPT-5 and Claude 4 are incredible at generating beautiful functional UIs, but only if you prompt them correctly. The secret? You need to explicitly encourage creativity and ambition. Instead of create a dashboard, say, create an impressive, fully featured dashboard. Don't hold back. Include thoughtful design elements, animations, and interactions. Go beyond basic implementations. For GPT-5, they even recommend specific tech stacks now. Next.js with TypeScript, Tailwind CSS, Motion for animations. Using these frameworks gets you better results because that's what the model was heavily trained on. And here's a wild tip. Provide multiple design direction examples and tell the model to create fusion aesthetics, combining elements from different sources. This prevents the generic, boring designs you sometimes get. Look, here's what you need to remember. The game has fundamentally changed. We're moving from prompt engineering to context engineering. Models follow instructions with surgical precision now, so vague prompts are your enemy. Context is a precious resource that depletes with every token. And just-in-time retrieval is replacing pre-processed embedding systems. The models are getting smarter, which paradoxically means you need to be smarter about how you guide them. Clear instructions, efficient context usage, and explicit behavior expectations are the new currency. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we're going to build an actual AI agent using these exact techniques. It's going to be wild.